Hello, Centro Baptist Church and beyond. Anyone else who's listening, very warm welcome to you all. So here we are, Friday the 9th of October, and I guess I'm winding down my theme for this week of programs as a kid, and I was running a bit dry. I couldn't think of anything, so my wife challenged me on this one. So let me read something to you, and then I'll burst into an amazing rendition. So it's not much of a life when you're just a pretty face, obviously, me. Just to be whoever you are is no disgrace. Phew. Don't be scared if you don't fit in. Look who's in the reject bin. It's the raggy doughs like you and me. Raggy doughs, made imperfectly. So if you've got a bump on your nose or a lump on your toe, do not despair. Be like the raggy dolls and say, I just don't care. I don't care. You can have that for free. You can do whatever you want to do with that song. Use it as a ringtone or whatever. I don't mind. There we go. The Raggy Dolls. I don't know who remembers them, but let me remind you of a few of their characters. We had Sad Sack. Well, he was literally like a sack and always sad, clearly. Dottie. She was one of the oldest ones. And she was like a bossy one, if I remember right. And we had Hi-Fi, who used to wear the headphones, and I think he had a stutter, and I think I found out that's because he was dropped on his head when he was a toy. Lucy, her limbs were inadequately attached, so there was thread and all sorts. Back to front, one of my favourites. His head was round the wrong way. We had a French one called Claude. Now he was perfect, but he fell out the box on a journey back to France or something like that. And then we had a princess, and there were other characters, Pumpernickel, and there's some other characters that came into it as well, but they were the main ones. And this was a show, I think it started about 88. And it was great because it was invented or started by Yorkshire Television, and it was created by a guy called Melvin Jacobson, and they intended it for people to have more awareness about themselves and not be forced into looking like the world. You know, if you were imperfect, it doesn't matter. There's still a use for you. You know, so although it was fun and watching these funny characters get up to all sorts of adventures, um, there was a meaning behind it, which I think was awesome, especially back then. And it went on; they had over 100 episodes, and it ran for quite some time. So that's the Raggy Dolls, and how's he going to tie this in with the Bible, I hear you say? I would have heard you say if there was anyone out there listening. Matthew 8, clearly, it's a part of the Bible where there's a lot of, well, miracles and healings going on. It starts with Jesus healing a man with leprosy. Now, leprosy is still, it's a horrible illness, ailment, disease. I'm not quite sure what it's classed as, but it's still horrible. But back then, these people were very obvious. They would have been wrapped in some sort of linen, and they were the fringe. They were less than the fringe of society. People feared them. They feared catching whatever they had. But Jesus wasn't afraid to go out and reach one of these guys. Then there was the centurion who came to him, and he healed a servant from distance. You know, the centurion says, "Look, I just do it here. I believe in who you are, and I'm a centurion. I can man loads of people. If I say go, they go. You just say the word, and he's healed," which was an amazing faith by someone who should not have been a believer as such. He heals a mother-in-law. I left a little pause there for bad jokes. I'm not going to add any in about mother-in-laws because mine is amazing and I love her dearly. Jesus calms a storm. There's a miracle where he calms a storm, and then there's demon-possessed men who end up in a herd of pigs. So there's lots going on in Matthew 8, and that felt very much to me like the raggy dolls, that the fringe of society, or the ones who other people wouldn't welcome into their house. Jesus was more than happy to welcome them into his life. And that's a great picture that is painted for us there. And it is a picture of how we should be. Very often as Christians, we can believe we're above society. We're not in a private membership club. I've said this before. Um, we are not above people. We are ourselves a ragtag bunch of people. Many of us were on our knees when we found faith. So I hope we don't carry that in our hearts into our Christian world, that we are above the world, because we certainly are not. We love and adore and believe in the one who is above the world. But we're not. We're raggy dolls. We're imperfect. Our heads are on back to front sometimes. Quite literally, it feels like our heads on back to front at times. We're almost actually rebels going against the grain of society for what we believe in. But it's about using our imperfections in the right way. So using them in the sense of welcoming people in. I know it's hard to at the moment, obviously with COVID, but we can put plans in place that when things are eased, then we can welcome in people into our little group of raggy dolls. That we can invite our sad sacks and back to fronts and hi-fis in, and because we're all welcome. Jesus has clearly pointed that out in Matthew. We're all welcome. Nobody is above Jesus. Nobody is above each other in this group, this following. So that's my Friday ramble. Thank you so much for tuning in again. I hope to virtually see or hear you on Sunday for our service. I'll set it up early for any dodgy early risers on a Sunday morning. So we'll make it go live on a 6 a.m. or something. And you're welcome to join in, listen, wherever you are. Cemetery Road Baptist Church.co.uk or crbcchurch.co.uk.com.org, whatever. You'll find us. God bless you all. Stay safe. Stay gelled up. Stay stayed.